Well, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of new music coming out at the moment that I'm listening to, so it's time to take a look back at some of those albums from 2015 that I didn't get a chance to have a listen to and review. And first up is a band that really made the name for themselves in the neo-progressive community. The Unquiet Sky by Arena. Now, Arena is one of those neo-prog bands that came about a little bit later on in the neo-progressive movement. The neo-progressive movement started in the early to mid-80s with Marillion and IQ, and then really made a name for themselves later on in the decade and even into the 90s with Pendragon and Arena. And Arena was a conglomeration of different musicians from a whole bunch of different bands. Not quite a full-on supergroup, but definitely taking that vein of these experienced musicians, finding their own techniques in other bands, and then coming together and creating this whole new entity. And with this, we have a number of really standout albums, especially in the late 90s and early 2000s. These are The Visitors from 1998, and Immortal in 2000, and The Contagion in 2002. These are probably the three most well-known and well-received albums from the band. And the band is back last year with The Unquiet Sky. So let's just dive right in and have a listen. I love how this album starts off. It reminds me of Deep Purple's live album of Concerto for Group and Orchestra, where you're presented with the orchestra, you kind of get this overture sense, and then bam, you're hit with the band, and I really like how they start off with this. And the music being played is still top notch. You've got that neo-prog sound, that signature sound of really heavy use of mellotrons and synthesizers, creating that melodramatic tone, that really theatrical styling, countered very well with that very operatic and very theater vocals. Each member of the band is definitely giving it their all in this effort. It's very easy to slip into that easy territory of the familiar, but these guys are definitely trying new things while keeping themselves in that neo-prog box. They're able to balance that fine line between keeping it in their roots, but also trying something new. Now, perhaps they could have maybe tried a few new things, because while I was listening to it, it did feel very familiar to me, but that's what I was expecting with this band, and they definitely delivered that. Diving more into the music specifically, like the traditional neo-progressive bands, there is a focus of the theatrics within the lyrics, and the melodramatics found within the melodies of the song. This blend is really what attracts me to neo-prog. It's got almost that passionate sorrow billowing in the dark. It's not quite as in-your-face as a lot of the tracks before this, and especially not as in-your-face as a lot of the songs that the band has done in the past. But it really adds to the overall structure of the song by starting off slow and really working that foundation of the song, and then building it up as you go.
With intentions all so pure, so tear off the crimson mask and reveal the countless lies. But it's too late now, here comes the unquiet sky.
As I mentioned earlier, a lot of those bands who have pioneered this type of style have kind of left it at the wayside by trying new things, but Arena has kept their focus, and it really actually pays off for the Unquiet Sky, the title track. It's still fresh and it's still new, with kind of that plucking of the violin to really set the stage and keep things going. So this song obviously is a really big highlight on this album for me. And let's talk about some of those keyboard solos that Clive Nolan got himself into on this album. Another really big reason of why I love the neo-prog genre is because you have that technical playing of the keyboards, that mellotron and synthesized sounds, and really going on a really nice dance, and Clive is a great musician for doing this. And these songs are sprinkled around the album, but they definitely are highlighted more towards the second half of the album, so once I get through the first half, I'm really treated with these last bunch of songs. Especially for Time Runs Out, which is particularly fun in one of the keyboard solos. And overall, I like how the album is structured. The three main heavy hitters are definitely the first song, the middle track, which is the title track of The Unquiet Skies, and then the last track of Travelers Beware. You have kind of the two bookends and then the centerpiece, so structurally it's a very well done album. And that Traveler Beware, the longer song on this album, is a really great track and really hits you hard. It's one of the more harder tracks on the album, and it's definitely, it pays off after listening to it. So overall, the interplay between all the musicians it's great on this album. No one outshines the other, and it's so easy on an album like this where the keyboardist just takes the center stage and nobody really hears anything else, or the lead guitarist takes the center stage and that's all you hear, or the lead singer takes the center stage and nobody hears anything else. This, everyone gets their chance to shine, and it's really well presented. There's also no real low point. There's no tracks that I want to skip, but on the other hand, there's really no standout moment. Even on those 3 heavy hitter songs, there's no breathtaking moment. There's no real big crescendo. It is a little bit of a drawback after repeated listens, so it's for that reason I have to say stream this album with a good pair of headphones. If you're a fan of the band, definitely check it out and definitely pick it up because it is a good time. And if you like the neo-prog subgenre, then definitely give it a spin. It's a good time had. And that's about it. So what did you guys think about this album? Have you had a listen? If not, give it a try. It's definitely a good time. If you have, definitely tell me what you thought down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. I will have my second review for Haken's past discography of Visions coming up very soon, so keep a lookout for that. I'm very excited to talk to you guys about that album. And that's about it. All right. Thanks for watching, and notes out.